Well, it's August 5th, 2020. I want to talk about perennial vegetables, fruits, herbs, and nuts. Now, depending on your growing area, this may not apply, but these are a one-time plant, and once you plant it, it should come up again every year. But depending on your climate, your zone, this may not be true, and you may not be able to grow these in your climate. Want to enjoy homegrown food year after year without having to start a garden from scratch each spring? Then it's time to discover Perennial Food Garden. All the following herbs, vegetables, fruits, and legumes, like peas, can be planted once and enjoyed for many seasons to come. What is a perennial? Perennial is a plant that comes back year after year. This differs from annuals, which must be planted each year, and biennials, which only live for 2 years. Like your, well, there's several of them. I can't remember one right now. So let's take a look at perennial herbs. That's basil. Not all basil is perennial. Try African blue or East Indian for perennial blue. Let me get this thing a little bit bigger for you guys. This is just too small. Oh, that's too small. Okay, there we go. Now you can all see. And I can see better. Chives, fennel, garlic, ginger, horseradish, one of my favorites. Lavender, which I planted this year, didn't come up yet. It'll probably come up next year in the spring. Just watch it do that. Some lemon balm, mint, onions like potato onions, scallops, Egyptian onions, Japanese bunching onions, Welsh onions, and Chinese leeks. Oregano, which I have in the front bed. Parsley, which I usually just buy one at the store, and it usually dies on me. Eventually goes to seed, done. So I don't know if it's really perennial, but that's what it says. Rosemary can be difficult to grow in some zones. Yeah. Sage grows like a bush, so if you grow some sage, make sure you got its own area to grow because it'll be just like a mint plant. It'll grow everywhere and be a huge bush in time, which does come up every year in my bed, so I just leave it in there and it comes up the next year. It sort of dies off with the snow, comes back up in the spring. Perennial vegetables, artichokes. Also, Jerusalem artichokes, also known as sunchokes. Now, these are great because you can plant them in a bed and just leave them in there, and you'll have more of them come up the next year. And you can dig them out in the middle of winter. And once you dig them out in the middle of winter, you got about less than a day to eat them. Otherwise, they go bad on you. So, just for your information. But this is a good vegetable to grow for preppers because you can just leave it in the ground, and if you run out of food and all of a sudden we have a big old food shortage, which I think we're probably going to have, you got something in the ground you can eat, and it'll keep coming up every year. And most people don't know what it is. So if they come and raid your house and take all your food, well, you can kind of smile and say, I'm not going to starve, but I'm going to be eating a lot of sunchokes. Yeah. Asparagus. Now, for asparagus, don't expect anything for at least 3 to 4 years. Okay? It usually takes 3 to 4 years for you to get anything out of asparagus. When you plant this, this is a long-term vegetable. Broccoli. Not all varieties are perennial. Try perennial varieties, Nine Star or Purple Cape. Radical. Now, radical is, I did go search for it because I have seen these seeds on trueleafmarket.com. And it's kind of like a cabbage that I remember from reading on that. I guess we can go to True Leaf Market real quick here because I know they list it. trueleafmarket.com. By the way, this is where I buy all my seeds, and I don't get any money for endorsing them, so, I'm not pushing their product, but I've had very good success in growing their food, their seeds. So let's look up the radical. Okay, they got two varieties. They're both heirloom, and they're both out of stock. And that's seen to be the case in most things. But let's this one right here I like. It's got more meat on the thing. Early elongated green leaves turned red from loose heads and stay short and possibly over winter. And they don't have much of a description here. That's weird. I know I thought that was grown somewhere in Spain or something like that. Okay, non-GMO radical seeds. An early heading selection of the increasingly popular vegetable. Firm red heads and attractive white veins. Can also be sown and left unthinned for salad leaves. Okay, so it's not telling me much about that. I thought they used to have a better definition of that. But anyway, basically you can use it like a cabbage, which is a good thing. Because I don't think many people knew about radicchio or radical or whatever the hell they call it. Rhubarb. I think you all know what rhubarb is. Strawberry rhubarb pie. Yeah, I like that. Spinach. Not all varieties are perennial. Triperennial varieties. Ceylon, Siso, or New Zealand spinach. Well, I'm not even going to look that up. Should I look that up? Maybe we should look it up. Let's look it up. They got little links here. How to grow your home vegetables, blah, 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 blah. And they have a whole section here on spinach. By the way, this whole article will be put down in the box below. And if you would, hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. Tree cabbages and tree collards. Now let's, those are a little bit different because they grow like a big old tree. And I'm going to show you some pictures of those. That's probably a good example right there. There you go. Yeah, see, here's tree cabbage. And they just kind of come back every year and they form a cabbage. But, I don't know if most people have ever grown these. Let's see if I can get some better images. Well, that's enough of that. You can look them up yourself. Watercress and Yams. Now, somebody said sweet potatoes are not a perennial, but they actually are. You can leave them in the ground, but most people dig them up and and they replant every year. If you're in a really cold area, then you probably they're more of a warm weather plant anyway, so that's why they grow a lot of them in the south. Perennial fruits: apples, apricots, avocados, blackberries, cherries, currants, and dates. Figs, go-go berries, huckleberries, grapes, kiwi, lemons. Must be brought indoors in the winter and colder climates. Yeah, of course. Limes, nectarines, olives, oranges. Same thing with that. You gotta take them indoors. Peaches, pears, persimmon, plums, raspberries, strawberries. Replant every 3 years to maintain vigor and cut down on disease. Yeah, mine grow like a weed. They're getting out onto the lawn. I had to cut them back all the time. Perennial nuts are almonds, chestnut, hazelnut, macadamia, pecan, pistachio, and walnut. And then this gives you some tips about growing perennials in your garden. Incorporating more perennial foods into your garden is smart way to save time and money. You won't have to prepare the planting area or spend money on seeds or seedlings at the start of each growing season. And once your plants are established, they'll be less susceptible to drought and other unfavorable growing conditions. Yeah, because the plant will be bigger and it'll be more massive, and even if there's a die-off, some will grow back. But I'll make a little point right here. Even though let's say you don't have to touch them and do anything with them, at the start of the growing season, you need to aerate the soils around it so that it breaks it up, so it can breathe a little easier and get some more that good atmosphere in the soil. So that's not absolutely true. And if you're smart, you'll food spike them. You'll either throw some azomite, which is a rock dust, which will be another. I'm gonna do a video on rock dust, and we're gonna talk about the different types of rock dust, the natural rock dust that you can get for your garden and how to use it. Okay, so anyway, to say that they're not maintenance free and everything, but the idea of a perennial is that once you plant it, it's going to grow food for you every year. And even if you get rated in a prepper situation, you still got the perennials to back you up for food. They'll come up every year, they grow every year, hopefully, some die off. Well, I think for this situation here, we're just going to call it what is a perennial? It's a plant that comes back year after year and provides food for you. And I think that's the best thing that could happen. So I would think about planting a lot of perennials that if you like the type of perennials that we're talking about, because it's collecting seeds, replanting seeds. It's easy to do on some plants like lettuce and parsnips. I got a whole gallon bag of parsnip seeds off of just like 4 or 5 plants. But you really want to cut down on your planting, and if you have a more sustainable food source when you can't find seeds, well, you just saw that two-leaf market was out of seeds on that one particular radical. So, you want to think about planting some perennials this year. You can plant them now in the fall. I mean, you should be planting your garlic pretty soon. You put that in the fall, and then you get in the spring. Anyways, that's my garden tips on perennials.